Good morning, everybody. It's Shelly. I just felt driven, I guess, to about money today. I think it's because I was thinking about giving and tithing, and then I remembered, oh yeah, I once did a whole little talk on the laws of prosperity years ago for a friend of mine that was doing a ladies' retreat. And I thought, I need to remind myself of what the laws of prosperity are. I brought it up and I just thought I would share it instead of just keeping it to myself. The first law of prosperity is the law of pure potentiality. So what that means, the law of pure potentiality, say that a bunch of times fast, is that you have to believe that you have the potential to be prosperous. You have to realize that you have the same opportunity that rich people have, and instead of making excuses and putting the blame out there, you have to take responsibility for your own prosperity. There we go. Chizo pizo. That word's gonna get me today. Um, and so you just have to have the knowledge and wisdom. You have to realize, hey, I get to have the same opportunity. I get to I have the same amount of hours in the day. I have the internet. If you're watching this on your phone, your tablet, or your computer, you have access to the internet, the same access that the rest of us do, and you can become prosperous. I personally am a reseller, and I also do tarot readings. I do some life coaching. So that's how I make my money, and I enjoy it and I love it. You got to find your joy and love and turn that into something prosperous. And you do that by just the joy of it. So I'm going to stop with all of that because that kind of leads into some other laws of prosperity. So the second law of prosperity, which is what I was thinking about this morning and kind of inspired me to do this video, is the law of giving. So when you give, when you put that dollar in the donation bin at your local wherever, when you see a panhandler and you give them $5, when you get an email from your animal shelter and they're asking for money and you give $20 to them, that is giving. When you belong to a church or some sort of organization where you can tithe, you are giving. And so the difference between donating and tithing, I also want to put that out there, is that donating is donating to like a cause. So like, oh, I want to help the puppies, so I'm going to donate to my local shelter. I want to help this person, so I'm going to donate to them on the side of the road. I want to help the Ronald McDonald House, so when I get my kids a Happy Meal, I'm going to throw a couple dollars into that. I don't even know. I haven't been into a McDonald's in a long time, but they used to have those boxes that you could put the money in to donate to the Ronald McDonald House, which helps parents get to stay with their kids when their kids are in the hospital. Anyways, you do that because you believe in that. So tithing is giving to something that inspires your life. So I was tithing for a while. So I would tithe to an author of a book that I was reading. I would tithe to a friend who inspired me to be more mindful. I would tithe to my kids for being, for reminding me how great life is. When you donate or you tithe, you have to give freely. So if you're giving to that panhandler, you have to let go if that's going to help them get their next hit, or is that going to help them get a hotel room to have a warm place. You have to just let go of that. You're giving to them. Have a blessed day. There you go. You have to give freely. When you give freely like that, you're putting out to the universe that you can afford to give money, that you can afford that abundance. Your cup is so full, it's running over, and you can share it with other people. I was just watching a video this morning, and the lady was talking about how she started giving. Was I don't have Aldi grocery stores where I live, but I know just from watching social media enough that when you go to Aldi to get a cart, you have to put a quarter in a little slot to release the cart, and that ensures that you go get your quarter back. So she leaves the quarter in there, so the next person can get their free cart. So that's how she started. Like, you can start with something so small like that. You can start with $1. Like, she talked about like leaving $1 somewhere in a grocery store so someone would find it and be able to, have that extra dollar. Just giving freely. And when you do that, like I said, you show the universe that your cup is running over and you are attracting more money. And they say, and I have seen it with my own eyes in my own life, when you give that dollar, you get 10 back. It has happened to me so often, I can't even tell you. When I make like $600 in a day and I give 60 away, which is 10%, which is like the tithing amount, I get it back. I get that $600 back in some way within the next week, month, or something like that. It always comes back to you. And so you have to like know that. So giving freely is so important. So we have realizing that you have the potential to be abundant and be prosperous, giving freely, whether that's tithing to something that is influencing your life or giving freely to something that you believe in, is going to be great. The law of karma, that's like the law of attraction. Whatever you put out there, it's like a boomerang. Whatever you put out there, it's going to come right back to you. So if you're putting out there, oh, I can't afford that. Oh, the politicians are making me poor. The rent's going up and I can't afford it. I can't afford that car. Oh, it must be nice to be rich, but I'll never be rich. When you put out all that, that's what you get back. The universe / God / whatever you believe in is the higher power, mirrors what you put out there, what your emotions are, what your beliefs are, what your programming is. So the whole law of attraction is changing your programming. So even you can do a little bit of fake it till you make it with these laws, but you have to know that whatever you're putting out there, you have to be more mindful about what you're putting out there. I can't afford that yet is even better than, oh, I just can't afford that. Me and my family have prospered and done well through the pandemic, through the politicians. Like, you have to take responsibility. Karma, put it out there. Put it out there. I can afford that. I can donate $1 here. I do have the same amount of hours in the day. I can find something that makes me happy. Okay, so that's the law of karma. Whatever you put out there, you're going to get back. Number 4, the law of least effort. This is where so many people get hung up because they think they have to work super hard for money because they saw their parents doing that, or they just hear it in society. Oh, you got to work hard. Nothing good comes easy. Lots of good things come easy. And I'll just give you a short example. I wanted my dream car. We decided that we were going to get me a new car. I had been driving the same minivan for 16 years. The kids were grown. I didn't need the minivan anymore. So I kind of put it out there. Hey, Facebook friends, I'm looking for a new car. If you know anything that's for sale, if you have something, I'm putting it out there first before I go shop at the car lots. One of my friends gets back to me. She already has a Camaro. The Camaro was my dream car. I wanted a Bumblebee Camaro. But I was just like, I'm not getting my Bumblebee Camaro right now. That's ridiculous. She goes, Shelly, you got to get a Camaro. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm like, what if grandkids come in a few years? Like, I can't have grandkids in a Camaro. She goes, Shelly, you have to get the Camaro. If you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? And I'm just like, oh, I think they're pretty expensive. She goes, look at them. They're not that expensive. If you're looking at getting a crossover or, another minivan, which I didn't want another minivan. She goes, it's about the same. I look at it. Sure enough, it's within my price range to get a used, fifth generation Camaro. Okay, cool. Tell my husband, I think I want to get a Camaro. He's like, okay, I guess we'll do that. Let's look. And I show him that the prices are the same. He's like, let's do it. So then I find one up in the Seattle area. I get a hold of the dealership. It's just a yellow Camaro. It doesn't have the black stripes like the Bumblebee, but I'm like, this is good enough. I'm going to get this one. I get a hold of the dealership. I'm like, I'm going to come up there to look at this Camaro, but I want the financing done. I want a warranty done. I want you to tell me what my payment and my down payment are going to be. And I want to come up there, test drive it, sign the papers, and leave. Ha! That's really great, lady. We're going to need to talk to your husband, blah, blah, blah. Ends up, they aren't even going to pull our credit or anything until we go up there. I'm like, absolutely not. I'm not spending a weekday night driving in the rain for 2 hours in the dark in a car I don't know, and then have to, end up being up there for, you've all done the used car crap. It's so horrible. So I was just like, no, that's not the car for me. And my husband was like, really? And I'm like, yeah. Number one, it doesn't have black stripes. This dealership is trying to jack us around, and we haven't even looked at the car. No, it's got to be the best circumstances, and that's how I want it. I want it financed. I want to know what my down payment is. I want the warranty. I want to go there, test drive it, sign the papers, and drive away. That's what I want. I don't want all this chaos of being at a car dealership for hours and hours. If we're going out of town to get this car, that's how it's going to be. The next day, he finds one in Grants Pass, Oregon. I call the dealership. It's a Toyota dealership. If you've never dealt with a Toyota dealership, so far they are the best dealership to deal with. Told him all the things that I wanted. He said, no problem. He said, how much can you put down? I told him how much we could put down. I said, I want a warranty. I want to get there, test drive it. I want to sign the papers. I want everything all ready. I want to see the papers. I want to, all that. Okay, no problem. Went there, test drove the car, bought the car, drove the car away. We were there for an hour and a half, and the only reason we were there for that long is because there was a torrential downpour when we were there, and the internet kept going out. So it took them a while to get all the paperwork ready. And then they couldn't get it onto one website, so they had to finance us with another website that was actually a lower interest rate. So it just got better and better. So the ease of that, like I could have went up to Seattle, spent 3 or 4 hours in a dealership, argued about price, blah, 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 been there till like 10 o'clock at night because we were going to have to drive up there after work one day. They weren't going to hold the car for me versus Grants Pass, who held the car for me for just a couple $100 deposit. They had all the paperwork ready. They had the warranty ready. I went there, test drove it away, signed the papers, and drove away. The ease. It's easy. The law of least effort. Prosperity is directly proportional to one's ability to scale up and automate their business. So this might be the way that this is worded might be towards like someone trying to get you to get into a business, but it's true. Like the ease of the prosperity, the ease of the law of attraction, taking the path with the least amount of effort and the most joy. People have such a hard time with that. You have to be able to see the blocks and go, and it doesn't mean that you like try to do something and then you get all these blocks and you're just like, oh, I can't do this. I'm just going to give up and walk away. It's, oh, I got to find an easier, better way to do this that makes me happier. My reselling business, I wholesale thrifted clothes. That means I don't have to list all these clothes. I just do a buy call and ship them all off in bulk and make, I'm paying $1.20 an item and I'm making $5 to $10 an item, and then I'm shipping it all in bulk. That was easier and better for me, and I found a way to do it. So that's the ease, the least amount of effort, the most fun, the most joy. Law number 5, law of intention and desire. So that's like, what do you want? What do you want your prosperous life to look like? Putting it out there. You have to have, And you already know what you want. If you watch Esther Hicks, she says that you have the vortex where you put all of your wishes and desires, and then they're just swirling around until you catch up with one, and then you catch up with one, and then it happens in the physical world, and then the rest of them are still swirling around in there. So that's the law of intention and desire. You have to have the intention and desire. If you're just like, I want to win the lottery and make $1 million, well, what do you want your house to look like? What do you want your life to look like? How, when you wake up in the morning, do you want to be excited about life, or do you want to be like, here we go again, I got another day of whatever, and no, you have to have a law of intention and desire. If you want to win the lottery, why do you want to win the lottery? What are you going to do with that? Are you just going to give it all away? I think that's another like thing that people think, that if they're rich, they have to like give it all away. No, you can make your life comfortable. You know that whole thing where you put the oxygen mask on yourself and then you can share it? Like, that's what I feel like I'm doing with this video. Like, I wanted to remind myself about the laws of prosperity. So instead of just reading it on my own, I'm like literally reading these while I'm talking about it. I didn't prepare this. I'm just throwing it out there. Law number 6, the law of detachment. So you have to detach yourself from that outcome and or not from the outcome, but how it's going to happen. So when I decided I wanted to buy that Camaro, I didn't like go, well, I have to have, it's got to be I mean, at first I need something local. And then one of my friends was like, we bought a car like, we didn't even test drive it. We bought it from like 3 states over and went and picked it up. Like, sometimes that's how you have to do it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize that was kind of an option. Of course, if you're looking for a specific car in a specific color, it's not always going to be in your area. So you got to open your mind, I guess, like open all the opportunity. Like, how can this happen? So you can't get attached to like, oh, it's got to happen right here, right now, in this exact way. When you're looking at buying a house, you might go look at 20 houses, and then the reason that you like a house might, or you were like, well, I wanted a stone fireplace, and then you end up with a brick fireplace, and you decide that you realize that that's what you really wanted all along. You just have to be open to all of these opportunities and not get locked down on how it has to happen. It has to happen because I'm going to get, overtime, or it has to happen because I'm going to hit the lottery. No, it can happen in so many ways, and you have to be flexible and go into things and be like, if it happens this way or that way, that's great, but I'm going to hope it happens in just the best, most unexpected, great way. So that's the law. The number 6 law is the law of detachment, of detaching how it's going to happen and just knowing that it's going to happen. I want to make $50,000, in the next 6 months. How am I going to do that? I'm not sure, but I'm going to keep up with the inspired action and see what happens. And then the law of Dharma, working to solve bigger problems and pain points of people creates prosperity. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm putting it out there. I'm sharing it. I'm sharing the wealth, if you will. I'm letting you guys all know like what I believe. I have friends and family that I watch struggle, and I want so much to like show them all of this. Do I struggle sometimes? Do I get a little about money and finances and stuff? Of course I do. But then I remind myself, hey, I am a prosperous, abundant person, and I can make money in so many ways, and it doesn't have to be this way. And when I put out there that there's lack, I attract lack, and I would much rather attract abundance and prosperity and fun and joy. So that's what I keep trying to put out there. And so anyways, I just wanted to share these 7 laws. So the law of potentiality, knowing you have the potential to be just as rich as the richest people in the world. The law of giving, letting the universe know that you are so rich that your cup is running over, even if it's a quarter or a dollar to begin with. Another little point that I want to put on this one, I knew I was going to do this. I was going to go back over them really quick, but is to put $5 in your wallet, to always have $5 in your wallet. And then as you get more abundant, put $10 in your wallet, and pretty soon put like a couple $100 in your wallet. When you have that money, that cash money in your wallet, it's a mental game. Like, oh, so and so asked me out to lunch, but I don't know if I can afford it. Yeah, you can afford it. You got $20 in your wallet. You can spend that at Chick-fil-A or on a salad and soup at wherever you go. Like, you have the money to go out to lunch. It just becomes this thing. Oh, you know, can you go away for the weekend? Yeah, I've got $500 in my wallet. Like, it ends up being that, I promise you. I've definitely been in places where I've had lots of money in my wallet, and it's awesome. Okay, so the law of giving. The law of karma. What you put out there comes back to you. So be mindful about what you put out there. Be more mindful about how you feel. When you think about money, start thinking about money in a better light. The law of least effort. Do it in the easiest, most fun way that you can. You do not have to work hard for money. You do not have to work hard to attract things. In fact, when you go the easier route, it happens faster and better than you can expect. The law of intention and desire. Have those whys. Have those whats. Like, what do you want? Why do you want it? You know, do you just want a big house so you look rich? Or do you want a big house because you want to entertain and you want lots of people over? Do you want to live in a, you know, like my aunt who inherited a lot of money, she was living in this big huge house with my grandma, and she couldn't wait to get a little tiny house with a beautiful garden, and that's what she ended up doing. Not everybody wants the same thing. Like, some of us, you know, I want the stable, I want the round pin, I want the indoor arena, you know, so those are my things that I want. But not everybody wants all the horse stuff. They're like, I don't want horses. Law of detachment. Detach how you're going to get it. Be open to all the opportunities. One of my favorite sayings is, it's going to be better than expected. It's going to work out better than expected. It's going to end up better than expected. Because when you put that out there, you're just leaving it open to the just how great it can happen. And then law of dharma, sharing it with other people, putting it out there into the world, serving others. So there you go. I'm going to end it with that. I appreciate you watching. If you are watching live, I've been over here on my list of things. It doesn't look like anybody was watching live, which is totally fine. I'm just going to put this out there and share it on Facebook and all that good stuff. So have a great day and be prosperous. Bye.